an early morning run to go get some of our hog feed. With inflation how it is, the price of corn and soy and a lot of what goes into the feed is increasing very rapidly. So it's the end of March. We're not getting our pigs until June, but I would rather get our feed now before the price continues to go up. Going to a local feed mill. We buy it by the ton just because it makes more sense that way, and it is cheaper than buying 50-pound bags.
I'm trying something new this year in my strawberries. I really have tried to avoid using plastic around my strawberry plants. I know it makes it easier, but it's just not my thing. So what I'm trying is something that my sister Amy told me, and she said what you do is you add rabbit manure in the bedding, which I don't have rabbits or their bedding, so instead I am using compost, like a couple inches of compost, and you spread it directly over your strawberries. And then on top of that, you add 5 or 6 inches of wood chip mulch on top of that. And then let your strawberries come up through that. And ideally, I should have done this. She did hers, I think, either late fall or winter, and it's spring now, but my strawberries are just barely breaking dormancy, so I think I'm still good on timing for this, and I'm hoping it works and we get a lot less weeds this year. I am starting cucumbers in soil blocks today. We have already done our tomatoes. We did 170 tomatoes in the soil blocks. So we just do those in the 2-inch blocks. The majority of those are paste tomatoes because that's what I can and preserve for later. Then we also have some cherry tomatoes and some heirlooms in there, and then just some regular slicing tomatoes as well. I'm going to sow the seeds for the cucumbers directly into the 4-inch soil block, which is really big. It's a lot of space, but that's really good for cucumbers because they do not like to be root bound at all. Obviously, the planting in soil blocks helps because you don't have a container there. They basically air prune once they hit the outside. But really the best case scenario is to not even let them get to the outside of that block. I'm going to do a row down the middle of my caterpillar tunnel of the cucumbers that I started early. My intent in doing that is hopefully to avoid some of the pest pressure that we had last year inside my caterpillar tunnel here. It will allow me to do that without worrying about them dying from frost. Yeah, we are about 3 weeks away from our average less frost, so my thought is to have them in the soil blocks for 2 weeks, and then a week prior to our average less frost, I will plant them inside the caterpillar tunnel. And then if we have any type of frost that do happen, I will be able to have them covered, and then they will also be covered inside the tunnel, so they'll be fine. We are tackling some projects and getting some things done. One major project we have put off for over a year we are doing this week, which I'm super excited about. Cam has off of work and we have family in town and they're gonna help us out. We are expanding our garden fencing into our new garden area. So we already have a 100 by 100 foot garden and we put up fencing the first year, but last year we expanded the garden area. We want to do another 100 by 100 foot garden. We started to get that prepped, but we only planted a very small area of that new garden space, mostly because I was concerned about wild animals eating the food. So it will be nice to have it all fenced in so we don't have to worry about any of that. Our kids really want to have their own garden area this year, and so we're gonna put their gardens in that new area.
Does your tractor run good? Yeah, it does. Ram it in that hole. And it's kind of, it's going to be loose, but we'll tighten it up.
It's not 46 inches. And actually, here it just gets so hot that it's actually a little bit better for them to be cooler in here.
Well, I generally...
Put it in there. We'll get that one off. Just finished our fence, and now it is the garden is 200 feet by 100 foot. The fence itself, the border around 3 sides of the garden it's a 10-foot border, and then in the back it's 20 feet to allow for vehicle and trailer access with mulch and whatever else. So we use welded wire for the bottom part of our fencing. What you see here is 5-foot tall fence that's buried roughly 6 inches in the ground, so critters can't dig and get in from under. What I'm about to do is start putting on the single strand of electric that's about 6 inches up from this, and we'll run a single strand all the way across the perimeter, so that if critters do try to climb up the fence posts, they can't get in. We have deer that cross our pastures every night, it seems, and they have not gotten close to the garden. The electric is more for not for the deer, but for the raccoons, and we've heard the horror stories of people's corn being safe until the day before they're gonna go pick it, and then raccoons just obliterate the crop. Yeah, we haven't had that problem yet, knock on wood.
Wow, it's good, Cam.
You don't have to put that in there.
That's good.
Yeah. There's 1,000 ways to put a fence up. So I'm not saying this is the right way, it probably is the wrong way. But what has worked best for us is, before we have these cables set and in place, but they're not tight. And then we essentially, if these are the 2 end posts, we have them tilted just maybe 10 degrees inward. Then we stretch the fence and as we tighten these tension ratchets, then it pulls the fence posts like straight, and then by doing so, because the fence is nailed into those, it tensions the fence, and it works really good. So when it does come time to stretch the fence, we have it anchored at one end, usually already nailed into the secure post. And in this case, we were expanding an existing fence, so that made it really easy for us on that end. To stretch the fence, we put two 2x4s together and screwed those on the very end of the fence, and then using a chain and a come along, we used that to just ratchet the fence tight slowly, and it did a great job. Exactly what those tools are for. Right here with me, this was not planned. We have a 5-foot fence going up to a 6-foot fence. I had thought all along that we originally purchased 6-foot fencing, when that was not the case. The original fence we have was this one here, and it was 60 inches high. And then what I purchased for our expansion was 72 inches, or 6 feet tall. And so that's why you have this lovely gap here that was definitely not intentional, but what do you do?